I have returned. So I am no longer sick, or well, actually, yeah, I am. I'm still not 100%, but I'm well enough to be making videos again. I ended up missing a whole day. I didn't upload for a day, and it fucking, my life feels weird when I don't upload to YouTube. Like the whole day that I was just sitting there laying in bed knowing that I didn't upload, I'm just sitting here like, my life is fucking miserable. Shit just felt off. Like, this is shit that I do all the time. And when you can't do something that you enjoy doing and something that you're used to doing all the fucking time and you can't do it, it's weird. It's really weird. Or like when you're used to touching your weenie every single night or your lady part. And then you wake up in the morning and you're like, wow. Hopefully people relate to that because now I look like a chronic masturbator. It just aids to the nerdy persona. But over that time that I was sick, I just had like this massive headache. My stomach wasn't feeling good like a couple days before that, but then it just progressively got worse. Like my body was kind of weak and it's like, yeah, I don't need a lot of energy, you know, like in my hands and shit like that to play video games. Video games aren't very exhausting to play. The biggest problem was the headache. Like I couldn't like even look at my phone. Like when I looked at my phone or even turned a light on, it was just so fucking painful. Like I took a blanket and threw it over all the blinds and shit like that. Like I could not see any light. It was terrible. Whenever I saw a light, like my headache just got worse and worse and worse. I could just sit in the darkness. Darkness became my friend. So emo. Eventually, I started feeling better to where I was able to, like, actually look at my Twitter and stuff on my phone when I was in bed and stuff like that. But seeing all of those tweets from all the people saying, you know, to get better and everything, there was, like, over 2,500 comments on my sick video of people just wishing me, like, to get better and everything. And that's just fucking, that's incredible. Just like I said in that video. Like, the support that people like me have in our position is just, it's unexplainable. But one of the biggest things that people were, I don't know, blowing it up to be, and honestly, it's really not as big of a deal as a lot of people really made it out to be. A lot of people already know about it, and clearly I just can't sit there and ignore it at this point because somebody wanted to go and just make a fucking video about it, Keemstar, reporting that I ended up getting swatted. Now, if you don't know what swatting is, it's basically just like people end up calling like your local police station and then saying like, oh, this person has a gun or some shit like that, and then they end up sending a SWAT team to your house and they kick the fucking door down and they throw all these flashbangs and they send the dogs after you and they tear you to pieces and they end up shooting you dead and shit. Or at least that's what people think swatting is, and in my situation, it really was not that dramatic. Now, a lot of people in that video ended up asking like, oh, why did Jeff get swatted? He's such a nice guy and all this other stuff. Well, I basically mouthed off to the wrong guy, basically. And in all fair play, he swatted me. Like, it's completely fucking fine. I mean, nothing happened. Like, the whole SWAT thing wasn't even really a big deal, to be honest. I didn't want to give this situation more, I don't know, exposure than it already had, but I just obviously have to after it got posted on Drama Alert and shit. But as far as how the actual swatting itself went, number one, it wasn't like a SWAT team or anything like that. From what I know, it's actually different like every time depending on like I guess the shit that they call in and say. I'm not exactly sure what they called and said that I was doing or whatever to send these people to my house, but they only sent 2 cop cars and I basically just stood outside because I knew that they were coming. I stood outside and then the cops came and then they asked me what was going on and I said that it was just like a prank thing and I wasn't doing anything and all this other stuff. It was literally like a 3-minute long thing. They didn't even come in my house. Like I invited them in. They were like, oh, that's it? It's just a prank kind of thing? It's not real? You don't have a gun or some shit like that? And I'm like, no. And they just looked at me and they were like, okay. And I'm like, you don't want to search the house just in case I'm like lying to you? And they're like, nope, you're completely fine. Okay, that doesn't seem very fucking responsible, but okay. If I did actually have a gun or some shit and I was planning on fucking killing people, I think I would want a more, I don't know, thorough search than that. If I were actually a dangerous person, that wouldn't be good at all. I expected them to like ask me more questions or anything like that, but no, they didn't really ask me shit. They took information about me, like who I was and shit, and that's it. So the whole swatting deal with people blowing it up, like there was stuff going around that I got flash banged and shot or like got my door kicked in and shit like that. No, none of that happened. It was just a really small little thing. I expected it to be more dramatic than it was, but it was really just that fucking simple. So no, I didn't fake being sick because I ended up getting swatted and flashbanged and had a massive headache because the concussion hit me in the fucking forehead. No, I didn't get sent to a hospital and that's why I couldn't upload a video. I was simply sick. The whole swatting thing happened while I was sick. It was a really small thing. It really is not a big deal. I simply replied to somebody in a way I shouldn't have, and that's just what happened. Completely understand it, completely fair game. I'm fine. Everybody in my house is fine. Nobody was even in my house when it happened, so like literally nothing happened. You guys know me. I'm not a fucking criminal. The only guns I wield are in Call of Duty, and none of them are quick bolts either.